Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tashan Tyson in the VON Major News package for today, Monday 25th March 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, over 360 homicides in the past 20 years here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and NIA moving to enhance the delivery of water to residents on the island. Regionally, CARICOM foreign ministers held talks with Venezuela's opposition leader. Internationally, Trump triumphed after being cleared of collusion. And in sports, United Nations criticizes humiliating IAAF testosterone rule. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail.
Over the last 2 decades, the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis has recorded over 360 homicides. Of those homicides, at least 355 was a result of gang activity. More than 270 were firearm related. Of that, males between the age 16 to 35 account for 90% of the victims.
Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police MacArthur Brown. The RSS discussion held in St. Kitts and Nevis last week was aimed at exploring the impacts of the gang culture. ACP Brown noted that law enforcement are also concerned about the number of illegal guns in the hands of criminal gangs. He disclosed that over the last 10 years, law enforcement agencies combined, police, customs and military, took over 290 firearms off the streets. Some of these firearms are military-grade firearms ranging from AK-47s, M16s, and AR-15s. The Nevis Island Administration will be embarking on a number of initiatives which are expected to enhance the delivery of water to residents on the island. Minister with responsibility for water services, the Honorable Spencer Brand, in an address to mark World Water Day, which was observed on Friday 22nd March, revealed some of the work that will be done to achieve that objective.
After some research and a subsequent application to the Caribbean Development Fund, CDF, the Ministry of Water Services was successful in securing funding to install a water filtration system that we expect will add an additional 200 plus imperial gallons per minute to the system. We will replace the old reservoir in Hamilton with a larger, modern 400,000 imperial gallon storage tank. And later, we will also change the Pond Hill tank with a 300,000 gallon reservoir. We believe these initiatives will greatly improve our water delivery capabilities.
The Honorable Spencer Brand. Nevis has been experiencing a dry spell which has forced the Water Department to implement a water rationing schedule in a number of communities across the island. Police on St. Kitts are investigating a report in which 2 men were beaten and robbed in their home in Sandy Point. The incident occurred sometime after 5 p.m. on March 22nd, when the 2 men were attacked by 2 masked gunmen who then fled the scene. Both men were treated for their injuries and discharged. Meantime, police are currently investigating a sexual assault incident that occurred in the Bastille area. The incident took place sometime after 8 p.m. on March 23, 2019, and involved a female teenager. Preliminary reports indicate that the assailant was following the young lady. He forced her to a vacant lot of land where he assaulted her. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. However, the police are making a special appeal to persons who might have any information regarding this incident to contact the Special Victims Unit, SVU, by dialing 465-2241 extension 4252. The Taiwan Technical Mission, TTM, in St. Kitts and Nevis is currently undertaking 4 major projects. These are the Enhancing Agricultural Adaptive Capacity to Climate Variability Project, the Nevis Venice Beach Project, the Capacity Building Project for the Prevention and Control of Chronic Kidney Disease, and the Land Administration Information System Project. The aim of the 4 projects is to add to the further development of the Twin Island Federation and improve the lives of its citizens and residents. Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris was given first-hand accounts of the various programs when he visited the International Cooperation and Development Fund ICDF mission at Nismus Estate last week. The Taiwan Technical Mission of St. Kitts and Nevis became established in the Federation shortly after the establishment of formal diplomatic relations between both nations in 1983. Since then, the mission has completed many projects in the Federation. Those projects include the Vegetable Fruit and Upland Crop Quality and Safety Improvement Project, which looked to help farmers in improving and ensuring the quality and safety of agricultural produce. With approximately 4 months away from the start of the Culturama 45, how are preparations that began in 2018 for the 2019 festivities coming? The VON Newsline caught up with the chair of the Culturama Committee, Mr. Antonio Abernathy Liburd, who gave us an insight as to how the organization's planning has been going.
Generally, plans are progressing quite smoothly for the staging of Culturama 45. This year we would celebrate the 45th anniversary of Nevis's Culturama Festival. The committee has been meeting regularly, and we have been putting plans in place for the staging of this year's festival. Now, coming out of the public consultations that were held in January, there has been a call by members of the general public to put some culture back into Culturama.
According to Chairman Liburd, the department's emphasis this year will be on folklore.
This year, the Ministry of Culture has mandated the schools that the schools taking part in the Junior Cultural Street Parade would portray folklore groups. And so all schools would be asked to display masquerades, Cakewalk, Johnny Walker, Sweet Lemon, Red Cross. We will be reaching out to the schools and making a special pitch for them to move away from the fantasy troops for this year and to focus on folklore. Now, I want to make it clear that privately organized troops for the Junior Cultural Street Parade can still do their fantasy troops. We are not putting that limitation on the privately organized groups, but the schools must portray cultural or folklore groups as part of this year's festival.
At the launch of Culturama 44, the Culturama Secretariat launched Culturama 45 slogan competition. This year's slogan is Love, Passion, Pride, Culturama 45, and was penned by Miss Vernine Williams of Brownhill, Nevis. As the winner, Miss Williams will receive a cash prize of $500, 2 sets of complimentary tickets to all Culturama 45 activities, a complimentary cultural street parade troop package of her choice, and a plaque. This year's festival will run from Thursday 25th July to Tuesday 6th August 2019. Opportunities for the furtherance of one's education continue to be offered to the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. The latest scholarship offer comes from the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, who is once again offering opportunities to the Federation's past and present graduates of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, CFBC, as well as the Nevis Sixth Form College. Scholarships are only available to graduates who are interested in undertaking studies at the University of the Virgin Islands, UVI, for a maximum of 4 years. Application forms can be collected from the Human Resources Department of the Nevis Island Administration, located on the second floor of the Social Security Building at Penny's Estate. All applications must be returned by Tuesday, 15th April, along with an original UVI acceptance letter as well as an original birth certificate. Interested individuals can contact the Human Resources Department for further information. As preparation for the Department and the Ministry of Agriculture's annual 2-day agricultural exhibition moves into its final stage, officials at the department are seeking the public's assistance to deal with what they say is a growing problem in the sector. The theft of agricultural produce, which is termed as predial larceny, is a major source of concern. Director of Agriculture here in Nevis, Mr. Randy Liburd. According to Mr. Liburd, the department is attempting to put measures in place to deal with the situation. Jason Hamilton of Limekeel, St. Kitts, who was charged on March 21, 2019 for the offenses of possession of a firearm with intent to injure and aggravated assault, has been granted bail in a sum of $100,000. with 2 sureties. According to a police communique, the offenses were committed on Monday, March 18th, and are in relation to a report made by a female who alleged that Hamilton had threatened her with a firearm and physically assaulted her. In addition to being bailed, Hamilton, who served as Attorney General in St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party government in 2015 and is a defense attorney, also has to adhere to the following conditions. No contact should be made with the virtual complainant, either by himself or any agent acting on his behalf, and he is to appear before the Bastia Magistrates Court on Monday, June 3, 2019, and on any further day to which the matter may be postponed to answer the charges made against him. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for 2, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family to swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Caribbean Community CARICOM foreign ministers over the weekend met with Venezuela's opposition leader Juan Guaido as the region seeks to help facilitate a peaceful resolution to the crisis in the South American country, and they say it was a significant initial step. A statement issued by the CARICOM Secretariat yesterday said Guaido's delegation met the ministers in Barbados on Saturday. The opposition leader, who has declared himself Venezuela's interim leader, joined via teleconference. The meeting was held in accordance with the decision of CARICOM heads of government to provide good offices in facilitating a peaceful resolution to the Venezuelan crisis through a meaningful internal process. CARICOM has insisted that the crisis in the Spanish-speaking nation be resolved without interfering in the country's affairs. Guaido has been supported in his move to try to replace Nicolas Maduro as president by the United States as well as other Western nations, but China and Russia are in Maduro's corner. The pleas of vendors and retailers for an extension to the deadline for the ban of single-use petrol-based plastics in Barbados have been answered. Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, Kirk Humphrey, has announced that vendors and retailers will now have until July 1st to use their existing stock, while the ban on the importation of the products will remain April 1st as planned. In addition, this January 1st, 2020 ban on all petrol-based plastic bags also remains in effect. The ban will see products such as petrol-based single-use plastic cups, cutlery, including plastic knives, forks and spoons, stirrers, straws, plates, egg trays, both plastic and styrofoam containers used in the culinary retail industry being prohibited. Humphrey noted that while the original intention was to ban all plastics, government heard the concerns of those in the chicken and manufacturing industries and made the necessary adjustments. He explained that after the announcement was made in September 2018 by the Prime Minister, his ministry held consultations with key stakeholders, including importers, who stated that they would need 6 months to get rid of their existing stock. As a result, he said the date for the ban was delayed from January 1st, 2019 until April 1st on their recommendation. Former Jamaica Prime Minister Bruce Golding is to lead a Commonwealth Observer mission to the Maldives this week to assess the conduct of its parliamentary election scheduled for April 6th. The Maldives had withdrawn from membership of the Commonwealth in 2016 after being warned by the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, CMAG, of possibility of suspension if meaningful steps were not taken to uphold human rights, democratic values, the rule of law, and judicial independence. The CMAG cited the imprisonment of political opponents, manipulation of the judiciary, restrictions on the media, and curtailment of free speech and association among the issues that needed to be addressed. Golding had led a similar observer mission for parliamentary elections in the Maldives in 2014. Among the concerns cited in the report of that mission was the unconstitutional removal by the Supreme Court 2 weeks before the elections of the chairman and vice chairman of the Electoral Commission. The report included several recommendations to improve the democratic process. The Maldives is an archipelago in the Indian Ocean consisting of over 1,000 islands, less than 200 of which are inhabited, and has a population of just under 450,000. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Donald Trump claims he has been completely exonerated by an inquiry into allegations Russia conspired to help him win the 2016 election. A summary of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's long-awaited report, released on Sunday, found that the Trump campaign had not conspired with Russia. However, it was inconclusive on whether Mr. Trump had obstructed justice. Russian officials and state media have welcomed the inquiry. The BBC's Sarah Rainford in Moscow reports.
Moscow is positively gloating today, with state media and officials relishing the lack of evidence that Donald Trump's team colluded with Russia in the US elections. The whole affair has ended in deafening emptiness, one TV channel here crowed, while a senator tweeted calling the entire investigation a disgrace, cooked up to discredit President Putin and demonize Moscow. As for the Kremlin, Mr. Putin's spokesman was in philosophical form. You can't find a black cat in a dark room, he quoted Confucius, especially when that cat isn't there.
The Mueller report was a culmination of 2 years of investigation by Mr. Mueller, which saw some of the president's closest former aides prosecuted and, in some cases, imprisoned, although not for collusion with Russia. The aid agency Mercy Call has warned that there can be no insight in the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo unless drastic action is taken. Its spokesman said there have been about 8 new cases every day. The BBC's Gayasko Shani reports from Kinshasa.
The 1,000 people who contracted the Ebola virus are in eastern provinces of North Kivu and Ituri. More than 600 people have died from the virus, making it the worst epidemic in history after the one that hit West Africa in 2014. Mistrust among some residents towards health workers and security problems are the two main challenges faced by the response team. Recently, the NGO Doctors Without Borders closed some of its bases after Ebola treatment centers were attacked, allegedly by people who didn't believe the Ebola virus was real.
Israel has carried out strikes on Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip hours after a rocket hit a house north of Tel Aviv. The Israel Defense Forces said the office of Hamas's political leader and the group's military intelligence headquarters were among the targets. Gaza's health ministry said 7 people were injured in the strikes. The IDF earlier blamed Hamas, which controls Gaza, for the launch of the rocket that hit the Israeli community of Mishmeret, injuring 7 people. And finally, Theresa May says she does not have enough support to win a vote on her EU withdrawal deal as things stand. She said she would continue trying to get MPs to back it before putting it to the Commons for a 3rd time this week. The PM will also order Tory MPs to vote against a bid by a group of MPs headed by Tory Sir Oliver Letwin to hold votes on alternatives to her plan. The government would give MPs time to hold such votes, but Mrs. May said she was skeptical about the process. She said the government would not commit to delivering the outcome of the votes, but would engage constructively with MPs. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Need a car but don't quite have the deposit? You don't need a deposit with Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. I've been waiting for this moment. Choose your Suzuki vehicle, sign up, and drive out. Get a brand new vehicle with 0 deposit, 5 years warranty, 1 year servicing, special finance and insurance, free flat screen TV with 3 months Flow TV package, free undercoating, free car care bundle, and so much more. Come in, sign up, drive out. Suzuki Sign and Drive at TDC Automotive. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In athletics, Plans to classify female athletes by their testosterone levels contravene international human rights, said the United Nations Human Rights Council. Olympic 800-meter champion Caster Semenya, 28, is challenging the International Association of Athletics Federation, IAAF, over its bid to restrict levels of testosterone in female runners. The UN called the plans unnecessary, humiliating, and harmful. The IAAF said the motion given to the UN contained inaccurate statements. Under the IAAF rules, female athletes with naturally high testosterone levels would have to race against men or change events unless they took medication to reduce those levels. In cricket, Australia batsman David Warner scored 85 runs in his Indian Premier League comeback, but could not prevent Sunrisers Hyderabad losing the opening match against Kolkata Knight Riders. The former Australia vice-captain scored 85 off 53 balls to steer Sunrisers to a total of 181 for 3. He put on 118 for the first wicket with England's Johnny Bairstow. However, Andre Russell, standing 49 off 19 balls, led the hosts to victory. Nitish Rana scored 68 at the top of the order for Kolkata, who lost to Sunrisers in the final eliminator and thus missed out on a place in the final last year. Warner did not play in the 2018 edition of the 20-over franchise tournament after organizers barred him for his part in a ball tampering scandal. His one-year ban from international cricket ends later this month, and the 32-year-old opener is expected to make Australia's World Cup squad and play in this summer's Ashes series in England. The Ines France Preschool held its annual sports meet at the St. Thomas's Primary School grounds on Friday, 22nd March. The athletes commenced with a march and then took to the track to participate in races such as flat races, thread the bowl, socks and shoes, lime and spoon, relay races, and others. When the final points were tallied, Red was announced as this year's champions. Final scores: Red House 328 points, Orange House 210 points, Green House 185 points. And finally, football. The manner of Saturday's 0-2 loss to El Salvador might have sickened the stomach of head coach Theodore Whitmore as it eliminated his Reggae Boys from League A, a competition in the new CONCACAF Nations League which kicks off later this year. However, the former Reggae Boys captain and star player remains optimistic and has adopted the philosophical view that out of bad comes good. The Reggae Boys had delivered an error-strewn rendition in their loss to El Salvador inside Estadio Cuscaldun during their final round of the CONCACAF Nations League qualifying campaign on Saturday night. That's it for sports. The local weather report is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 60% or a moderate chance of showers after midnight. Weather tomorrow will be partly sunny with a 30% or a low chance of showers. Winds are east to southeast at 19 to 33 kilometers per hour or 10 to 18 knots, with strong gusts at times to near 46 kilometers per hour or 25 knots. Seas are 1.2 to 2 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:11 a.m. And that's her wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, 25th March 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, over 360 homicides in the past 20 years here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and NIA moving to enhance the delivery of water to residents on the island. Regionally, CARICOM foreign ministers held talks with Venezuela's opposition leader. Internationally, Trump triumphant after being cleared of collusion. And in sports, United Nations criticizes humiliating IAAF testosterone rule. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.